Hey warriors, welcome back. I once watched my closest friend destroy himself trying to be the good one. He gave, forgave, and sacrificed until there was nothing left of him. He carried peace for people who wouldn't even remember his name. 3 years later, I saw him again, and this time he was different. Not broken, not lost, ruthless. He looked me in the eye and said, "The world didn't change, I did. I stopped being easy to break." That hit me harder than I expected, because deep down I knew he wasn't just talking about himself. He was talking about me and about you. Right now, 2 versions of you exist. Version 1, the one that explains too much, apologizes too often, and keeps hoping others will finally see your worth. You bend, you tolerate, you try to prove your loyalty. But the more you give, the less they value it. And then there's version 2. The quiet one, the steady one, the one that doesn't argue, beg, or chase. They remove. Without drama, without guilt, you've lived as version 1 for too long, and it's draining you. It softened your edges where they should have been sharp, and made you merciful where you needed to be measured. Machiavelli once wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." He wasn't promoting cruelty, he was talking about control, about knowing when to stop breaking yourself for people who would never do the same for you. Today I'm going to help you awaken version 2, the strategic, calm, ruthless version of you, the one people sense but can't manipulate. There are 8 transformations that separate these 2 versions. Each one will cost you something, but what you gain will make you unrecognizable to your old self. If you stay with me till the end, you'll stop looking for peace from others and start generating it from within. Because in a world designed to break you, the only way to survive is to become untouchable. Before we begin, type this in the comments: I will not break again. Number 1. Stop giving yourself to the ungrateful. The first transformation starts with this truth. Your biggest weakness was never your kindness. It was where you placed it. You've been pouring energy into people who feed off your light, but never reflect it back. You kept helping, forgiving, explaining, hoping they'd finally recognize your value. But they never do. Here's why, in human psychology, what's given too freely loses its value. People subconsciously devalue anything that doesn't demand effort. They assume if you keep giving, it's because you need to be liked. And the moment someone senses your need, they gain control. Weakness doesn't come from failure. It comes from emotional dependence disguised as goodness. Machiavelli once said, "Men are quicker to offend one who is loved than one who is feared." The ungrateful take advantage of your compassion precisely because they don't fear losing it. They know you'll stay. They know you'll forgive. They know that no matter what, you'll justify their behavior. That's not kindness. That's self-deception. Here's the truth. People remember pain, not mercy. They respect boundaries, not explanations. Every time you tolerated disrespect, you trained them to see you as disposable. Every time you defended your worth, you confirmed that it needed defending. The world doesn't break you because you're good. It breaks you because you confuse being good with being harmless. The ungrateful are predators in disguise. They don't hunt your body, they hunt your guilt. They twist your empathy into a weapon and use it against you. Stop believing that you owe anyone loyalty just because you once cared. Your care is a privilege, not a right. Give it only to those who've earned it through consistent respect. Everyone else should feel the weight of your absence. Detachment is your defense. Indifference is your revenge. Machiavelli understood this when he said, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, and covetous." He was warning you, never hand power to the ungrateful. They'll always use it to weaken you. Goodness without boundaries isn't virtue. It's suicide. Ruthlessness isn't cruelty. It's correction. It's the moment you stop rewarding betrayal with access, when you stop answering every call, stop forgiving every lie, stop explaining your silence, the ungrateful panic. They realize they've lost control of your emotions. That's when the power shifts. You become the one who decides who gets your time and who fades into irrelevance. The world belongs to those who conserve their energy like a weapon, not to those who waste it like a wish. Every ounce of effort you give to the wrong people is strength stolen from your future. Withdraw it, rebuild it, protect it. Let them wonder what happened to your warmth, and tell them it froze when you finally saw the truth. Some people deserve your distance more than your devotion. Drop this in the comments. My kindness has limits. Number 2, turn pain into power. Pain, the one teacher that never lies. It doesn't flatter your ego. It doesn't care about your comfort, and it refuses to let you hide from yourself. Pain strips you down, burns away the weak parts, and leaves only what's real. The difference between people who stay broken and those who rise isn't how much pain they've felt, it's what they do with it. Weak minds drown in their suffering because they're still chasing fairness, still hoping the world will give them closure. But the ruthless know better. They understand that pain is currency, and you can either spend it building yourself or waste it complaining about life. The strongest people you'll ever meet didn't escape pain. They used it. They took betrayal, heartbreak, and loss, and instead of asking, "Why me?" they asked, "What is this teaching me about control?" Machiavelli once said, "Never waste the opportunity offered by a good crisis. Every painful experience is an invitation to evolve. If you're bold enough to look beyond the hurt, pain isn't punishment. It's information. It reveals exactly where your weakness lives. Every betrayal shows you who you trusted too easily. Every rejection exposes where you placed your worth. Every loss reminds you that nothing external is permanent. Once you start seeing pain through that lens, it stops being a wound and becomes a weapon. You begin to sharpen your mind instead of shatter it. Most people cry just to feel better. The powerful reflect to get stronger. When ruthless minds are hurt, they don't beg for closure. They create power. They study what went wrong. They study who went wrong. They don't waste hate on their enemies. They learn from them. Every heartbreak becomes emotional discipline. Every disappointment becomes focus. That's the secret behind Machiavellian resilience. The art of using the world's cruelty as fuel, not as chains. Because pain isn't the end. It's the forge where dominance is born. When life breaks you, it's simply showing you who you are without your illusions. So stop running from it. Sit with it, feel it, learn from it. Because the moment you survive your own suffering, no one else can control you with fear. And that's the real power. The kind that doesn't depend on circumstances or approval. When you stop fearing pain, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. People can't manipulate what doesn't react. They can't guilt someone who's already faced worse and lived through it. Machiavelli said, "A wise man learns more from misfortune than from comfort." That's because pain activates awareness. It burns away illusion and shows you who's real, what matters and what doesn't. The more you endure, the calmer you become. You stop flinching at small things because you've faced far worse. That calm and that quiet strength commands respect. People can feel it. The energy of someone who turned every wound into wisdom. Someone who doesn't carry scars with shame but with pride. Your silence becomes heavier, your gaze sharper, and that's when you know you've crossed over from being shaped by pain to shaping others through it. So the next time life hurts you, don't curse the pain. Study it. Ask yourself what advantage is hidden here. Because every ounce of suffering holds a seed of strength if you're ruthless enough to use it. Now write this in the comments. My pain builds power. Number 3, kill the need to be understood. You spend so much of your life trying to explain yourself and why you acted that way, why you pulled back, why you stopped reaching out. But here's the truth. The more you explain yourself, the smaller you look. People don't respect explanations. They respect results. They don't care about your intentions. They care about how your silence makes them feel. Every time you justify your emotions, you hand people the power to define them. You start seeking validation for your pain instead of clarity for your purpose. And that's how the world tames you. They don't need to silence you. They just need to make you defend yourself. Because the more you defend, the more guilty you seem. Listen, your peace doesn't require their understanding. You don't need to be explained, decoded, or forgiven by people who were committed to misunderstanding you from the start. Machiavelli once said, "It is a wise man's rule to believe nothing of what he hears, and only half of what he sees." He understood that perception is a weapon, and people will twist yours to weaken you. When you try to correct that perception, you enter their game and lose power immediately. The ruthless don't explain. They adjust. They withdraw. They move differently and let results make the noise, because the truth is people don't listen to words. They study patterns. You can explain your loyalty 100 times, but one act of distance will speak louder than all your speeches. The moment you stop seeking to be understood, you become mysterious, and mystery demands respect. It forces people to wonder instead of judge. Silence makes them uncomfortable because it leaves them with questions they can't answer. And humans fear what they can't predict. That's power. Think about every powerful figure in history. They weren't loud, they were deliberate. They didn't announce their plans, they revealed them through victory. You have to learn the art of being seen, not explained, of walking away without warning, of detaching without a speech. Let your energy confuse those who thought they knew you. Let your peace become proof that you don't need closure from chaos. Because once you stop needing to be understood, you become free. No opinion can cage you, no rumor can shake you, and no misunderstanding can control your emotions. Machiavelli said, "He who seeks to please everyone pleases no one." That's the law of life. The world doesn't reward the honest. It rewards the effective. And effectiveness requires detachment from perception. If people choose to misjudge your silence, let them. If they label your boundaries as arrogance, let them. If they call your distance cold, let them freeze. You owe no one the explanation for your evolution. The only thing you owe yourself is peace. And peace begins when the need to be understood dies. Say it with me. I explain nothing anymore. Number 4, detach, don't beg. Detachment isn't about not caring. It's about caring correctly. You've been taught that love means holding on, even when it's destroying you. That loyalty means staying, even when you're disrespected. That understanding means forgiving, even when they're not sorry. But the truth is, attachment to the wrong people is what's been killing your peace. You can't heal in the same place that broke you. You can't grow where your worth is doubted. And you can't evolve while begging for the bare minimum. Begging is emotional slavery. It's giving someone else control over your self-worth, handing them the key to your peace, and praying they don't use it against you. They always do. Machiavelli once said, "Men are driven by two principal impulses, love and fear. When you beg, they stop loving you and start fearing that you'll never leave, so they stop respecting you altogether." Detachment flips that balance. It tells the world, "I'm not desperate for what you can take away, because I've already learned to live without it." That's the kind of energy people fear losing. See, the powerful don't chase. They attract by removing access. Their silence forces people to confront the emptiness left behind. Begging feeds the ego of the other person, but detachment starves it. You want to know why they come back after you stop chasing? Because your silence becomes a mirror that reflects their guilt. And guilt is louder than any message you could send. When you detach, you teach people that your presence was a privilege, not a guarantee. You show them that you can rebuild alone, and that you'll never be held hostage by emotion again. That's when they panic. Because people crave control more than connection. And when they realize they can't control your emotions anymore, they start fearing your calm. Remember this: begging doesn't create love, it creates leverage for the other side. And once they have that leverage, they'll use it to keep you weak. So stop proving your worth to people who lost sight of it. Stop begging for energy that should have been freely given. Stop arguing for your place in someone's life when silence says more. Detachment isn't cold. It's sacred. It's the moment you choose peace over chaos, logic over emotion, and power over pity. You can't win influence over others until you master influence over yourself. You can't demand loyalty while you're still addicted to attention. When Machiavelli wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally," he was describing detachment. The fool waits to be broken to walk away. The wise one leaves the moment he feels disrespected. Never negotiate your value with people who act like they're doing you a favor by keeping you close. The world respects strength disguised as indifference. They chase what they can't control, and the more you detach, the more magnetic you become. So next time you feel the urge to explain, to fix, to chase, stop, breathe. Remember, your silence is not weakness. It's strategy. Because the moment you stop begging, you become the one in control. And control, that's real power. Type this in the comments to seal it. I detach with dignity. Number 5. Boundaries are your armor. Kindness without boundaries is a weapon, but it's a weapon pointed at you. You've been told that being nice means saying yes, staying silent, and tolerating everything just to keep the peace. But that's not peace, that's surrender. Every time you let someone cross a line, you teach them that the line doesn't exist. And once people know they can get away with disrespect, they stop seeing you as human and start treating you as a resource. Boundaries are not walls. They are gates. They don't keep love out. They filter who deserves access. When you finally build those gates, you'll see something strange happen. the same people who said they cared for you will get angry. Not because you changed, but because they can no longer exploit the version of you that didn't know how to say no. They'll call you distant. They'll say you've changed. They'll accuse you of being cold. Let them. Their frustration is proof that your boundaries are working. Machiavelli once wrote, "A prince is loved when he confers benefits, feared when he sets limits." And that's exactly what boundaries do. They teach people to respect you, not just like you. See, people respect what they can't easily reach. They value what requires effort. The moment you stop being too available, your presence becomes a privilege again. Boundaries aren't about keeping everyone out. They're about protecting your focus, your energy, and your self-respect. They are silent armor, invisible but undeniable. You don't need to announce them. You don't need to argue for them. You simply enforce them, quietly, consistently. When someone tests your limit, don't debate, withdraw. When they mock your standards, don't lower them, disappear. When they guilt-trip you for protecting your peace, don't explain, stay silent. Silence is your sword. Distance is your defense. Because here's the thing. Boundaries aren't for other people to understand. They're for you to maintain. Every time you reinforce them, you tell your subconscious, my peace matters. My energy matters. My time matters. And slowly your self-worth starts to rebuild itself, not from validation, but from discipline. Machiavelli understood that power isn't taken, it's protected. And boundaries are how you protect your inner kingdom from chaos. You are not obligated to entertain disrespect just because you used to tolerate it. You are not required to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. And you are not responsible for how people react to your self-respect. Set boundaries like royalty. Defend them like armor, because every boundary you set removes one more person who was only around to drain you. And that's not loss, that's purification. Type this in the comments. My boundaries are sacred. Number 6, master the art of silence. The loudest person in the room rarely has power. They're just trying to convince you they do. Real power moves quietly. It doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't explain. It doesn't react. That's because silence is not emptiness, and it's control. When you speak too quickly, you reveal your emotions. When you explain too much, you expose your thoughts. When you respond too soon, you surrender your strategy. But when you stay silent, you force the world to guess. And people fear what they can't read. Machiavelli once said, "He who knows how to be silent knows when to speak." He understood that silence isn't weakness, it's timing. You don't win by shouting louder. You win by knowing more than you say, and observing more than you reveal. Silence turns your presence into a mystery, and mystery turns into influence. Think about it. When someone stops explaining themselves, when they just observe, when their calm can't be shaken, everyone starts wondering what they're thinking. That curiosity gives you psychological dominance. The ones who rush to talk expose their desperation. The ones who sit back and watch command the room. Powerful people don't interrupt. They interpret. They let others talk, expose themselves, and reveal their weaknesses. Every extra word is a clue. Every reaction is information, and information is power. Silence is how you collect it. It's how you understand people better than they understand themselves. It's how you stay 10 moves ahead without saying a word. But silence isn't just strategic. It's emotional armor too. When someone tries to provoke you, stay quiet. They want your reaction, because your reaction is proof that they still control your emotions. Don't give them that satisfaction. Let your silence answer the insult. Let your distance reply to the manipulation. Let your calm drive them insane, because silence says everything words can't. It says, I've outgrown the need to prove myself. It says, I'm not ignoring you and I'm protecting my energy. It says, you no longer have access to my emotions. Machiavelli believed that those who control their tongue control their fate. And it's true. Silence is how you stop being predictable. When no one knows what will trigger you, they stop trying. When no one can guess your next move, they start respecting your restraint. That's the moment your presence becomes powerful. You walk into rooms quietly, and everyone feels it. You speak rarely, and everyone listens, because silence, when mastered, becomes your loudest statement. You don't need to prove anything anymore. Your discipline speaks for you. Your calm speaks for you. Your absence speaks for you. So when the world pushes for a reaction, pause, breathe, smile if you must, but say nothing. That's how you win without fighting. Say it in the comments. My silence speaks louder than words. Number 7. Never show full loyalty. Loyalty, the most expensive currency on earth, and yet most people spend it carelessly. You give your loyalty to friends, lovers, co-workers, believing that if you stay loyal, they'll do the same. But that's not how the world works. People don't value unconditional loyalty. They exploit it. They start testing how far they can push, how much you'll tolerate, how easily you'll forgive. And every time you stay, every time you excuse their behavior, you teach them that loyalty means you'll never walk away. That's not loyalty anymore. That's submission. Machiavelli said, the promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. What he meant was, loyalty in this world is conditional. It survives only where respect exists. True loyalty is not blind. It has limits. It ends where betrayal begins. Never give anyone your full loyalty, not until they've proven they can protect it. Because the moment people realize your loyalty is guaranteed, they stop earning it. You want to stay powerful? Be loyal to your principles, not to people. People change. Principles don't. When you live by principle, honesty, discipline, respect, your loyalty becomes something sacred, and only those who share those principles will be able to stand beside you. But when you live by emotion, attachment, nostalgia, guilt, your loyalty becomes a chain that others will gladly hold. Here's a truth few will tell you. Loyalty without leverage is slavery. You can't be fully loyal to anyone who wouldn't hesitate to replace you the moment it benefits them. That's not bitterness, that's realism. Even kings kept spies close. Even allies had limits. Even brothers drew lines. Machiavelli taught that the wise ruler trusts few and watches all. Not out of paranoia, but out of awareness, because power attracts deception, and when people want your favor, they'll say anything to earn it until they get what they came for. So test loyalty. Don't assume it. Give trust in small doses and watch what they do when things get hard. Do they defend you when you're not in the room? Do they stay when you have nothing to offer? Do they keep your secrets even when they're angry? That's loyalty. Everything else is performance. And when you find real loyalty, protect it but never depend on it completely. Because people are loyal only until their priorities change. That's why your first loyalty should always be to yourself, to your growth, to your mission, to your peace. Because when your loyalty to others outweighs your loyalty to your own peace, you've already lost the war. So stop proving your loyalty to people who are testing your limits. Stop bleeding for those who wouldn't bandage your wounds. Stop staying where loyalty is one-sided. You can respect someone and still walk away. You can love someone and still choose distance. That's not betrayal, that's survival. Remember, even the most loyal wolf walks alone when the pack turns weak. Never reveal your full loyalty. Keep a part of yourself untouchable, a space that no one owns but you. That's where your power lives. That's where your peace hides. Because loyalty should never cost your freedom. Type it in the comments to claim it. My loyalty has limits. Number 8, become untouchable. You've been broken. You've been lied to. You've been betrayed, used, and underestimated. And every time it happened, you thought it was the end. But it wasn't. It was training. Every scar was a signal. Every loss was a lesson. Every silence was preparation, because the goal was never to stay soft in a cruel world. The goal was to become untouchable, not emotionless and just unshakable. Not heartless, just disciplined. The untouchable version of you doesn't react, they calculate. They don't chase, they attract. They don't explain, they execute. They walk into every room with quiet confidence, not because they think they're better, but because they've already survived worse. That's what real power feels like. It's not about controlling others, it's about mastering yourself. Your emotions, your impulses, your energy. Because once you control your inner world, the outer one can't break you. You stop arguing with fools. You stop defending your worth. You stop overgiving to the ungrateful. You move differently, calm, precise, focused. You look at chaos and say, I've seen worse. That's when life changes. People start treating you differently, not because you demand respect, but because your silence commands it. They sense the boundary, the calm, the danger. Machiavelli said, a prince who is feared and loved is invincible. But fear here doesn't mean cruelty. It means stability. It means no one can shake your peace or manipulate your emotions. They can try, but it won't work. Because you've built yourself in silence, and everything built in silence can't be destroyed by noise. The untouchable version of you doesn't waste energy explaining, chasing, or proving. They simply exist, and the world adjusts around them. You've learned the hard way that most people aren't loyal. They're opportunistic. That pain doesn't end, it evolves. That silence is stronger than rage, and you've learned that the world doesn't reward the kind. It rewards the calculated. So you stopped giving endless chances. You stopped being too available. You stopped mistaking understanding for weakness. You became still, and in that stillness you found power. Now your peace is sacred. Your time is currency. Your presence is a privilege. That's what being untouchable means. It's not about being cold, it's about being clear. You know who you are, what you deserve, and what you'll never tolerate again. No more begging. No more over-explaining. No more losing yourself to save someone else. You've entered the rare space where nothing external can define your value. Not their approval. Not their betrayal. Not their silence. You are no longer waiting for anyone to recognize your worth. You've already crowned yourself, and from now on, every step you take, every choice you make, every silence you hold, will remind them that they didn't break you. They built something they'll never have access to again. That's what it means to be untouchable. Type it one last time in the comments. I am untouchable. So now you know. The world doesn't get softer. People don't get kinder, but you can get sharper. You can evolve from the version that begged for peace to the version that creates it. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them regret. You don't owe them answers anymore. You owe yourself peace, and you've earned it. Because the truth is, you were never meant to be understood. You were meant to be remembered. Stay calm. Stay dangerous. Stay untouchable.